journey going through all these Blackwell Ghost films, and we're not done yet. To give you a quick recap of the previous ones, the first two dealt with the actual titular Blackwell Ghost in the Blackwell house, and for the most part that was kind of a copy of Paranormal Activity, give or take, basic found footage paranormal stuff. From there it went to the Lightfoot Ghost mystery, which from film to film just seems to be getting a lot more intriguing in what I call a mix between the National Treasure series and Paranormal Activity, which continues with the Blackwell Ghost 5. The Blackwell Ghost 5 carries on from where the last one left off as Turner Clay finally receives the contents of the mysterious bottle found at the end of the fourth film. The contents which include what looks to be a map. But there's more to that map than meets the eye. As Turner Clay tries to decipher the mysteries of the map, the vacation home in Florida once again comes alive, turning his attention to a linen closet of all places, which seems to hold even more secrets. The Blackwell Ghost series seems to have the same problem as the Star Trek film series, in which the even-numbered movies seems to be stronger all around because the fifth film is good, but I don't find it as good as the fourth one. In fact, I would say that this movie had an extremely strong opening and perhaps an even stronger end resolution. But a lot of the stuff going on in the middle of the movie I found to be slow, repetitive, and failing to get to the point. It was something that I might compare to a season of The X-Files, where, the premieres and the finales were really great, tantalizing episodes that really dug deep into what that show was all about, the I wanna believe stuff, while everything else kind of felt throwaway, filler, whatever. The opening and the closing of this movie dealt with the contents of that bottle, the map. And like the last film, which had a cipher that he had to figure out with the help of the Lightfoot Ghost, this map wasn't clear at first until he had some help from the ghost, and then the finale was fantastic once he figured it all out, just like any good mystery should be. And the structure for all of that, it's great. But again, that middle section had one good idea, and they stretched it out for a long time, and that one good idea has something to do with that linen closet in the hallway. Once you figure that out, then it's all uphill from there on out. In fact, it's amazing again, but until then, there's a lot of repetitious moments. Now, what I think helped the fourth one stand out a little bit more was Turner's ability to create a communication method with the ghosts. The Mr. Spell toy thing, that felt unique, it felt different. And when the ghost used it, I was intrigued to say the least. Well, in the fifth one, there's nothing like that. He just kind of resets everything up that he's already done in the past. The Mr. Spell toy again, the microphone hookup to the phone again, the Scrabble letters again, etc. None of which do anything at all in this movie, and it's just filling space. What he needed to do was once again come up with some other form of communication. The only thing that felt slightly different here was a minor realization that the way that you see ghosts isn't from omni light but rather directional, which means that he had to do a lot of his investigating in the dark with just one small light. This helped with some of that creepy atmosphere elements, but again, it was during the middle of the film when there was a lot of that repetitious moments, and so sometimes it worked for me while other times it didn't. I do like the mystery though, and it constantly makes me wonder how much of the story Turner Clay came up with and created in advance, because I consider him to truly be incredibly creative at the end of the day, and if he wanted to, for instance, he could create an escape game based off the series, or like a board game or something, because I can tell that this mystery is pretty strong overall, and I love the puzzles that he finds himself surrounded in. And I love that he gets help from both ghosts in the house as well as his fans on Facebook. Like, it's almost meta in that respect, because he's talked about his social media page and how he asks fans for help, and he often talks about how nobody ever believes his movies are real, but he doesn't really care, and you believe him because that's just the type of personality that he puts out there. He has never been over the top or scared. He's like passive or awkward when it comes down to what he hears, when it comes down to the unexplained, which I feel like is a little bit more realistic sometimes than the overacted scares that you would typically find, or the blood-curdling screams, etc. How would you act in a similar situation? If your house was legitimately haunted, would you scream your face off, or would you freeze at the spot? If you heard pounding on the walls literally every single night, would you eventually get used to it and just kind of act annoyed? Because sometimes that's how he acts, which in a way makes the series feel a little bit different than any other found footage franchise. But if that's a good thing or not, I'll leave that up to you. With that being said, let's go ahead and break down my final score for the Blackwell Ghost 5, which is a B+ letter grade final overall score of 81%. 81 out of 100 possible stars, which is technically the same exact score as what I gave the last one. But it does change when you take a look at my unbiased and biased scores for both films, because those are the things that make up the total score overall. Because my biased score for this one is slightly lower than Blackwell Ghost 4, which basically just means that if I was given a choice between the two, I would pick the fourth film over this one. But they're both made pretty well from a tactical aspect, which at the end of the day evens out both scores so that they tie. So there you go. Guys, as always, please let me know your thoughts on the Blackwell Ghost series as a whole and where you rank this 5th film in the comment section down below. And as for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell to be notified when I come out with my next review for the Blackwell Ghost. And until then, peace out!